Alright guys, so let's go ahead and do number 9. Number 9 says the table shows the relationship between calories and fat gram contained in orders of fried chicken from various restaurants. So the first thing that you need to understand is what depends on what. And the fat grams depends on how many calories that fried chicken has. So this would be your X and that will be your Y. Assuming the data can best be described by a linear model, that means we can go to stat. How many fat grams would you be expected to be contained? So how many fat grams would be, what is your Y when you have 275 calories, when X equals 275. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to stat and come up with the equation of the line. So my X's are 305, 410, 320, 500, 510, and 440. And my Y's are 28, 34, 28, 41, 42, and 38. And then just a few seconds to make sure that it's correct. 305 with 28, 410 with 34, 320 with 28, 500 with 41, 510 with 42, and 440 with 38. Then I'm going to go ahead and do stat. And the equation of the line is y equals 0.07x plus 5.86. Now, I do not want to go all the way to 275. That's my linear regression on x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and plug in that x over there. So 0.07 times 275 plus 5.86. So grab your calculator and do this. 0.07 times 275 plus 5.86. That will be about 25. So the correct answer was C. Alright, let's go to number 10. A computer is purchased for $1,200 and depreciates at 140 per year. Which linear equation represents the value V of the computer at the end of the T years? So V equals, it depreciates, so if it depreciates, it should have a negative slope, so that would be negative 140x. And the initial value of the computer would be 1200. So the correct answer is negative 140t. That should be a t, not an x. I'm sorry. V equals negative 140t plus 1200. So the correct answer is A. All right. The equation y equals 461.19x plus 3,492 represents the value of a work of art from 1964 to 2005. What does the number 461.19 represent? So that's the slope, which means if x equals the value of work art from 1964 to 2005, x equals years, and y equals the value of the art piece, the value of the art, which means that is your change. That means that every year it goes up $461 with 19 cents. So the value of the work art in 2005, no. The yearly increase, the value of work art in 1964, no. That would be your y-intercept. That's your y-intercept. So that's not the answer. Yearly decrease is not a negative slope, so the correct answer was D. All right, let's go to number 12. So which of the equation of the line is parallel to mn? Where the first thing that you need to do is figure out what mn is, okay? So I have clearly 2 points. I do not know my y-intercept, so I'm going to go ahead and go stat in here. So I'm going to do x and y. My point M is negative 3 and positive 2, and my point N is 1 and 4. And then only because I think it's 3.5, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to go ahead and do stat just to make sure. So let's go to stat, clear that list. Negative 3 and 1, and 2 and 4. Negative 3 and 2, 1 and 4, and then we're going to do a linear regression. There you go. So I was correct. Is 0.5x plus 3.5. But because I wasn't sure, I went ahead and I go to stat, and better to be safe than sorry. All right, so this right here can be changed to 1/2 x plus 3.5. So if the line is parallel, that means that the slope has to be the same. Now there's a challenge over here because all of my options, none of them are solved for y. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for y for a. 2x minus y equals 3. So I'm going to do minus 2x. That equals, there's an invisible 1y, negative 2x plus 3. Now I'm going to divide by 1, and the slope ends up being 2. That's not the slope that I want, so it's not a. All right, I'm going to do b. X minus 2y equals 3, so this is minus x. Negative 2y equals negative x plus 3. I'm going to divide by negative 2. There's an invisible 1 over here, so my slope is negative 1 divided by negative 2 would be 1/2. So there's my answer. All right, number 13. All right, for number 13, I got to get rid of that plus 2 with a minus 2. So then I have negative 1/2. 2x plus 6 equals negative 2. I got to get rid of that 2. So I'm going to multiply it by negative 2. So if I multiplied all of this and all of this by negative 2, that is cancel. Negative times a negative is positive, so I get a 1. So I get 2x plus 6, and then negative 2 times negative 4 would be positive 4. So remember, you have to do two problems over here. One equal to 4, the other one equal to negative 4. So this is minus 6. 2x equals 4, and negative 6 is negative 2. Negative 4 and negative 6 is negative 10. When you divide by 2, I'm just doing both problems at the same time, you get that x equals negative 1 and x equals negative 5. So the correct answer was C. All right, let's go to 14. In which direction is the graph of f of x 5 divided by x plus b translated when b is increased? The best way to do this is to give yourself some numbers for b, okay? So I'm going to say that the first one is 5, x plus 3. And I'm going to double that b because it increases. And then my other y, I'm going to change it to x plus 6. Now remember, when you put this on y equal to, because I want to see what actually happens to the graph, because you have two things in the denominator, you got to tell the calculator that that's your denominator. So you got to group them with parentheses. So let's go to y equal to. I think you might be able to write it as a fraction. Yes, I can. So that would be 5, and then you don't have to worry about grouping them. X plus 3. And then the next one would be 5 and x plus 6. And I've done the purpose of increasing that b, which is that number that is over there. And now I'm going to graph it. All right, so that's the first one, and that's the second, and that's the second one. Okay, so we moved it. It went from here to here. So we moved it in what direction? Left. All right. So again, it went from here to here. So this is right, that's left, it moved to the left. All right, the last one, and you guys are done. The poll shows that it is likely that with a margin of error of plus minus 2 percentage points, 78%, I think this is on one of your tests, but let's go ahead and do it. X minus 78 less than or equal to 2. So remember, you got to move that sign to the front, but that 2 becomes a negative 2. Okay, so cover the back. Negative 2 is less than or equal to negative x minus 78. Cover the front. X minus 78 is less than or equal to 2. Alright, so I'm going to say plus 78, and x is greater than or equal to, this is 76. And then I'm going to add 78, and x is less than or equal to 80. Okay, so that doesn't help because both numbers, all of them have 76 and 80. But in here, x has to be bigger than 76. First of all, it includes both of them. So I can eliminate a and c because those are open circles and not closed circles. So 76, x has to be bigger than 76. Are those numbers bigger than 76? No, they're not. So it has to be D. Let's do the other one. X has to be less than or equal to 80. Very good. So the correct answer in here was D. And I think you had this on one of your quizzes. All right, that's it. Make sure, hopefully you try them first and then went to the video to see how many you actually got right. All right, babies, you have a good night.